in the whole world. Like everything that is going on is like heavy. Like its energy is so fucking heavy. Like it's crumbling. Like it's like what I'm seeing is like the earth grid just crumbling fucking down to the ground. If that makes sense. Like it's being released. Does that make sense? The earth is being released from damage. If that makes sense, it's being released. Not only are we being released from toxic bonds and toxic wounds, but the earth is being released as well. Like she is shattering. She is swelling her heart, if that makes sense. She needs to beat again. And with so much damage and so much darkness aligning alliances, aligning through the through the through the through the shelter of the earth, if that makes sense. Kind of like the crust. I'm seeing like the crust like crumbling. So I feel like there may be some earthquake somewhere. There may be some breaking of the earth somewhere. There could be somebody maybe digging around you, if that makes sense. But I'm seeing like cracking of the earth. So I feel like the heartbeat as we're vibrating higher, because y'all know y'all been feeling this fucking energy. I'm just saying, it's been like it's been heavy, intense energy, if that makes sense. There's so many spiritual psychic attacks and so many people awaken using their spirituality that is making the earth vibrate higher. Her heart is vibrating higher. Her beat is vibrating higher. So now it's time for her to start cracking. It's time for her to start opening a shell within her, if that makes sense. So there is going to be a lot of change happening within the world. There's going to be a lot of, I hear terrorist attack. Take that as you will. I don't know. Take that as you will. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of creation from the breakage. Does that make sense? I feel like the earth is shedding an example. God is shedding an example by the earth, if that makes sense. Creator God is creating an example by shedding the earth, if that makes sense. So take that as you will. I don't know. I was guided to come on here, so I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, you got the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Cups, the Angel of the Ocean, the Nine of Cups, and the Three of Cups. There's going to be a lot of recognition here. Like, there's going to be a lot of change within our souls. There's going to be a lot of change within our mind. We're breaking free from reptilian coding, if that makes sense. And I am one to say that I am very reptilian. I'm very draconian. But we're also breaking free from the lower diagrams of darkness, if that makes sense. The more reptilian or the more draconian you have in you, the more sensitive you are. If you look at lizards, they have to have lights. If you look at snakes, they have to have heat lamps. If you look at fish, I mean, fish, they pretty much, I don't know how they live underneath the ocean when it gets cold. I'm just saying, I guess they migrate or whatever. But if you, they have a more sensitive feel to things because they feel with vibrations. Even animals, dogs, cats, all animals feel with vibrations. We as humans, we are evolving into a higher consciousness and a higher awareness of what we vibrate for, if that makes sense. What we what we what's the words I'm looking for? What we understand more with through our vibrations, if that makes sense. Through our energetic fields, we understand more by breaking barriers and change to other energetic fields. So I have said this before, like everybody's going to be walking around there in their own bubble. They're not, it's kind of like our energy is breaking away from everybody else's energy, if that makes sense. As the awakening started, we were all energetically connected, and now that the earth's energetic grid is breaking and falling, which I've done said the veils have been broke for fucking a year now, if not longer, because everybody is using spirit so strongly. We have already transmuted and broke that veil. That veil has been gone, like it has been diminished. It has been washed away a long time ago. But now that we are vibrating at a higher level, a more intensified level, we're actually breaking the earth's grid, and we're breaking energetic cords to everybody around us. Does that make sense? We're breaking energetic layers so that way we can become more protected from psychic attacks. So we can become more protected from the different layers of the different I want to say ancestors, but I'm seeing like energy. So we're breaking layers from different energy people. Like, just because I've been awakened for 5 years, okay, I've been awakened for 5 years since the end of 2016, beginning of 2017. That's whenever my gifts started coming back. So yes, I have been living with my kids, and I have been with my kids pretty much every day since then, but they're still not on a vibration and an understanding of what's going on in the world than what I am, if that makes sense. Even my best friend's not on a level of vibration or a level of understanding that I am. Even though me and her have spent a lot of time together, she still don't truly understand the things that are happening and other people around me, because I am an activator. So I walked around this bitch activating everybody. Now they just all want to attack me. But even though they don't, what they don't realize is they wouldn't even be where they're at today if I wouldn't had activated their DNA within their body, within their human vessel, if that makes sense. So where am I going with this? I done forgot where I was going with this, y'all. So as an activator, I have outgrown them, and it's time for me to move on. And I know earlier I did a live about leaving the codependency behind, walking away, and just giving it all up, knowing that God's got you, knowing that you're going to be fulfilled if you walk in his prophecy, if you walk in his light. And that's what's happening now. Even though the earth's grid is layering and it is shedding away, so that way she can rebirth herself, so she can become reborn, if that makes sense, kind of like Jesus became reborn. The earth has to rebirth herself as well. That's why the flood came in. They washed away all the bad to bring in back in the good. They saved one family. What was that? Noah's Ark. Noah is who they saved. So, and we're actually in the beginning of a new phase. We're in the beginning of a new age, if that makes sense. We're in the age of Aquarius. We've been in the age of Aquarius, but this is the final shift of into the age of Aquarius. So these true prophets, these true 144s are standing up and moving forward and leaving an code of absence, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense. But they're leaving a code of absence behind them. Like what they thought was for them is actually absent in their life. They don't need that part of them anymore. So they're having to walk away. These would be the chosen ones, the true prophets that are here to walk the earth, that are here to help humanity abide by God's codes, by God's rules, instead of these lower frequencies and these lower entities that everybody else is hanging on to, if that makes sense. So we are connecting more into a more popular phase of where we're going with our truth and understanding where and why we need to go and roll this way with our truth, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope so. Take that as you will. So we got the Wheel of Fortune coming out, the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Angel of the Ocean, Nine of Cups, and Three of Pentacles. So I feel like with these cards, I feel like you've done the healing, you've done the work, you've self-indulged, you've done what you need to do, you've you've prayed to your God. You've prayed to God. You've prayed to the highest form of light. You've prayed to the highest form of love. You come more into your intuition by doing this and understanding that you can't control everybody else. And I feel like that's actually why the earth grid is falling, because everybody needs to be in their own bubble so nobody else can be controlled. Does that make sense? Everybody else, these reptilians, these people with the brown eyes can control more than the blue eyes and the green eyes. But whenever the blue eyes and the green eyes actually get on top of it, they can be more controlling than the brown eyes, because the green eyes and the blue eyes are more sensitive, if that makes sense. Flip it, switch it, take it how you will. But the blue eyes and the green eyes can be more controlled because of the sensitivity of light, if that makes sense. Their sensitive soul, their sensitive heart. And I'm not saying each and every single one of y'all with blue eyes or green eyes is a sensitive empath at the Hyoka. I'm not saying that. There's different DNAs, and that's why actually we all talk about the 12-strand DNA grid. Your DNA is actually what activates you into a higher power and a higher light of who you are. That actually activates your soul. It activates your abilities. It activates your aligning. It activates your truth. It activates your understanding. It activates your soul path. Once you energetically align to your true soul path, your DNA activations become more stronger. They they strengthen, they become more thick, if that makes sense. And it allows you to layer out the lower individuals who aren't allowing the DNA coding to come in, if that makes sense. So we're going through a healing right now. Yes, yeah, reunion is coming in as well. You got the Three of Cups coming out, the Queen of Pentacles, and Judgment. So there is a energetic pull between you and your divine masculine here, within the next, I'm gonna say within the next 2 days. Within the next two, I heard 7 days, but take it as you will. Within the next 2 days, there will be a true energetic alliance. That is aligning, a true energetic aligning. Somebody may be trying to come towards you. Take that as you will. Be careful. Make sure that you're listening to your soul right now. Make sure that you're listening to your heart's journey as well. Be on the defense. Like, watch what it is that you need to watch. Watch the red flags. Watch the things around you, if that makes sense. Um, take that as you will. I'm going to get off here. Peace.